Hello and welcome to the Empowered Couples Podcast, where here you get modern, non-boring relationship advice for you and your partner to communicate like pros, fight smarter, and stay on the same team no matter the challenge that you face. I am one of your hosts, Jocelyn Freeman, and Aaron Freeman, who is normally with me, is with our baby girl right now, to be honest. We are in an interesting season right now. There are some different challenges, complexities, and some amazing things all going on at once, which isn't that funny how life can be like that, where you're like, wow, there's some real challenges and there's some really exciting stuff as well. And so we are dividing and conquering in a lot of ways right now. And I am truly so grateful that we are a team. We're a team in parenting, in our house, in managing challenges, but also in communicating and staying connected and talking about feelings and able to hold space for each other and be able to have hard conversations. We've actually had a lot of hard conversations lately. We've had a lot of different emotions. And if that is something you want to get better at, I want to make sure that you attend the marriage web class that we're going to be doing probably the day or the next day that you are hearing this. It's going to be on August 17th. And so if that is something you want to get better at, make sure that you go and register at onlinecouplesworkshops.com. And I wanted to say that at the beginning, just so you do not miss your chance to attend that live. But today's episode is about real and lasting change in your marriage, requiring the 3 things I'm going to share with you today. You know, in change, it isn't about trying to modify yourself and become someone that you aren't in the relationship. When we say change, we're talking about alignment. We're talking about overcoming challenges. We're talking about smoothing out the rough surfaces that keep you from being the couple that you really want to be. So what kind of change are you desiring in your relationship right now? Maybe it's more fun together and actually like laughing and dating and playing again. Maybe that change is less conflict, shorter arguments, maybe wanting to get over them faster. Maybe you're wanting to have more meaningful conversations and connect more through communication. Regardless what that change is that you're wanting, here's what I desire for you. I desire that you, by the 3 things I'm going to go into today, can get real and lasting change in those areas. Not short term, I'm going to do some things out of compliance for a week or 2 because I want to make you happy, and then I'm going to go back to my old ways. I'm talking about you two evolving together and creating plans and systems and habits and ways of interacting with each other that has those positive things last. Now, does that mean you magically have them maintained? No, actually, relationships require you to keep your eye on those things that are important to you. So you might experience some progress in the area of intimacy, for example, but if you take your eye off that area, you can notice that it goes back to old ways. And so part of creating real and lasting change is actually ongoingly having your attention on it, not just a one-time conversation, feeling a boost of energy, and then again, back to the old ways. So I'm going to go into these 3 things, and I want you to listen throughout because they all are important, and I'm going to share with you a very exciting resource. If the web class isn't exciting enough, I'm going to be sharing something that I want to make sure you hear because I think you're going to want to participate. You're going to be able to get a lot of support with us. So anyway, listen throughout because I can't wait to tell you about it. All right, the first requirement for real and lasting change is self-growth. Growing as individuals. You could call it personal development, okay? This is about you two as individuals growing, evolving, healing, changing your patterns, self-awareness, understanding yourselves more, and especially identifying those habits, ways of being that don't work for what you're wanting in the relationship and bringing attention to those and saying, you know what, I want to work on this. Whenever we see someone, and it's not often, but people can say in movies or even in interactions with us, well, this is just who I am, right? They just need to come to terms with it. We are kind of sad with that mindset because we are not fixed as human beings. We are not stuck the way we are. And actually, one of the core desires and needs for human beings is growth. You feel stuck, you feel stagnant, you feel bored, you feel less than your best when you are just the same every month, every year. And so for us in our marriage, self-development and some kind of consistent commitment to personal growth, which it can look a lot of different ways, I can give some examples here in a minute, is pretty much a non-negotiable. And quick story way back with us, I remember dating Aaron, and I was like kind. I mean, it was delivered in a great way. I promise you guys. But I pretty much told Aaron, it's a non-negotiable for me. Like, I want to be with someone who's at least open to growth. Now, I told him, your desire for what growth looks like can be different. You don't have to want to do everything the same way that I do, or love the same books, or love the same, coaches and experts. You can explore different things. I just want to be with someone who wants to grow and is willing to look in the mirror and say, hey, I need to work on this. And that willingness to me is sexy, and maybe for you too, right? But this first requirement of self-development and self-growth is important because so often in our sessions, we will see this dynamic continue if the person does not look in the mirror and explore how they are really contributing to it. And more importantly, looking beneath the hood as to where that comes from. Sometimes it has to do with our past. And so have you been exploring that? Or maybe it has to do with some challenges that are going on within you, and you need to explore where those are really coming from, so that ability to look within and grow and use tools. Like, let me ask you this. When was the last time you read a self-development book? When was the last time that you hired a coach? Or when was the last time that you listened to self-development podcasts? That is important to have a part of your lifestyle. Now, we're not saying you need to devote 4 hours a day to it, but we said this to a couple recently because they asked us specifically. They're like, okay, we both want to work on ourselves. How much do you recommend specifically? And we were like, well, at a minimum, just something a little bit each day, meaning you're either choosing to meditate a little bit in the morning, you're listening to a podcast on your drive, you read a book at night, some kind of positive input or self-reflection. So something every single day. Now, this is where I want to call you forward, call you up. Yes, listening to podcasts like this, thank you for listening, reading books, watching YouTube videos, looking at social media posts from people who post self-development things, those are all great things. However, they don't really have as much stake. You're kind of consuming something, but it doesn't mean that you are activated and you are taking it on, right? You can listen and be like, nice idea, but then you don't really do anything about it. And that's where I want to actually invite you to level up what your next action is in self-development, and that actually be to invest in yourself. That to be either hire a coach, attend a workshop, sign up for a course, something where you actually have to invest in yourself, because I promise you, just that energy that you put towards it, because you're actually committed to it, it actually up levels your change. I promise you, it's different than just getting free content. So that's my challenge to you around that. And I'm going to be telling you about a way you can invest in yourself and your relationship here in just a minute. But let's go to the second requirement. That is gaining tools and skills, and specifically relationship tools and skills, not like tools to fix your house up. I'm talking about actually gaining step-by-step principles for what communication looks like, or healthy conflict, or how to create more intimacy. Because again, it's one thing to say as a couple, oh, let's work on our communication. And the other person says, yeah, let's do that. Let's be more patient with each other. Let's get better at it. Okay, having that intent is one thing, and that's great. But actually learning the skills, gaining the tools, practicing them is completely different. And that's, again, another area that we have ongoingly focused on in our relationship, is gaining those tools and skills. And hey, I want to get better at intimacy. Okay, great. Let's actually learn what contributes to creating intimacy, not just say that we want it. So gaining those tools and skills is really critical. Now, I want to, before the third requirement, address how these two can actually happen within the couples experience. Now, if you've heard the couples experience before, stick with me because it's actually new and improved. We have some new features for this. If this is your first time hearing, then stick with me for a second as I describe it before going to the third requirement. So we are adding even more features into the couples experience, which is one of our core programs that we don't offer all the time. And we actually, just to be honest, have been doing a lot of private coaching. We have very little space left to even work with people. I mean, that we are so lucky that we work with so many great couples. And so this is the best way to work with us, but also have something you can do self-paced. So as I'm describing it, you can actually pull it up on your phone, go to thecouplesexperience.com. And what's great about it is it includes a few elements. It includes some self-paced trainings that you have access to for lifetime, but also you get some live support with us. You get to do a relationship assessment. We do a call with you privately going over your relationship assessment results. And we're doing, this is new, group community coaching calls, 5 of them. And this is where you'll get to interact with us and with other couples, hear from other people, get support through anything that you're going through, but also ask questions. And this is where we can coach you ongoingly because look, this is what we truly believe. Lasting change in a person doesn't just happen by being on your own. It happens in community. And we live so separate these days. And this is something I personally struggle with, is just how separate we all live. And even if you have great friends, even if you have great family, you may not have those people that you're growing with specifically. And so I want you to go read the details because registration for this is actually closing August 23rd. And so you only have a week to enroll. So go to thecouplesexperience.com. We are adding more than ever and also cutting the price. And so this is just a no-brainer to actually create real and lasting change. So can't wait to see you in the couples experience. We're going to be sharing more details on the web class as well, but get registered before August 23rd. Okay, on to the third requirement for real and lasting change. And that is being around the right people. It's community. It's that influence around you. I mean, we've all heard the phrase, I know it can even sound cheesy these days, but just you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around. However, isn't that so true to consider? And just think about your influence and get it. Like, we have amazing family, we have amazing friends, and we had to cultivate that. Literally, I don't think I have a friend that doesn't do self-development or that I couldn't talk to about our relationship. Like, that's just the community that we have cultivated. It's like, hey, I'm reading this self-development book. Hey, I'm going through this in my marriage. Can we talk about it? That's just a part of the community that we have cultivated. Now, maybe you have that, maybe you don't. And so this requirement for real and lasting change is because, look, we soak up and absorb and model and mirror after what we see. You could be the best person ever, but if you aren't surrounded by people who are up-leveling you, who are challenging you to be the best version of yourself, you can fall back into old ways. And so having that influence and what can be called sometimes positive peer pressure is so powerful. For you to be around people who aren't just going to say, oh, you're right, they are so wrong, I can't believe them, what a jerk, or whatever. Instead, they go, okay, let's talk about you. How are you doing in this, right? And who can flip it to have you focus on yourself and growing, but also can sometimes be like, hey, I hear you. I can imagine that's hard, right? It's both the support as well as someone challenging you to be the best version of yourself. And so what I'm inviting you into today is auditing your community. Who do you talk to? You know, whether it's guy friends, girlfriends, family, are they offering you the right kind of feedback? Are they challenging you to be the best version of yourself? what is it? What's the conversation that you have with these people? And so again, I want you to really check out, who do you talk to the most? Who are you spending the time around? Are they aligned with the kind of marriage and partnership that you want to create, but also the kind of person that you want to be? And if they aren't, I'm not saying cut them out, right? I'm not saying never talk to your family again or never talk to those friends again unless they really don't contribute to you or they're unhealthy or toxic. You can love people, still spend time with them, and add new relationships into your life. And that's how it started for Aaron and I. We really started to spend time with new people. We started to meet people who liked self-development and growth as well. We started to meet people who were really focusing on their marriage and were a good influence, but also had honest conversations. They weren't just like, we're fine, let's talk about the weather. No, we wanted friendships that had meaningful conversations and who we could share the challenges with. And so maybe this invitation is about you starting to seek out new friendships. And where can you find them? And that's what I really want you to put your attention towards. So let me do a brief summary here. Today, we're talking about creating real and lasting change in your marriage. First, it is that self-growth, that self-development as individuals. Some kind of a daily practice where you are nurturing mind, body, soul to be the best version of yourself. And then also bigger journeys, right? That's where I challenged you to invest into yourself and not just have it be always free content. Second is gaining tools and skills. You can say all day long, let's work on communication, but it's another thing to actually gain step-by-step principles for what that actually looks like and be guided through exercises. And then the third requirement is community influence and being around other leaders and positive influences and mentors. You know, the power of community and people you surround yourself with. And all three of these things, you guys, are addressed in the couples experience. That's why we are so excited that we added these new elements to it. And so truly go to thecouplesexperience.com, read the details, get enrolled before August 23rd. This is where we're going to be putting the majority of our attention now these days because we just have added so much. We've even added new trainings to it. We even have guest expert trainings in there. Like, we are adding so much love and attention to this program because number one, it's already benefited hundreds of couples who've done it in the past, but because we know what we've added will only 10x the power of it. So we can't wait to see all of you in that. Get the discounted price that's available. Enrollment is open until August 23rd. And really, this episode, I just hope it gives you at least one action you can take. Maybe it's for you focusing on self-development, or maybe it's about, you know what, I need to start to shift who I'm spending my time with or who I talk to. Regardless, take at least one nugget. Take action on it. Don't let this just be another nice episode you listened to and didn't do anything. So with that, I can't wait to see everyone on the web class. That is free. And again, that's at onlinecouplesworkshops.com. And then I really can't wait to see those of you in the couples experience. Oh, the relationship assessment, the call with us, the trainings, the group calls. It's all going to be powerful. So we love you all. We can't wait to talk to you on the next episode.